Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going deep on legal operations
Ooh, legal ops.
and how AI is,
Yeah. How's it shaking things up?
yeah, exactly, shaking things up. Our source today is,
Source material.
source material. The Blickstein Group's 17th Annual Law Department Operations Survey Report.
17th annual. Wow.
17th annual, I know.
Yeah.
83 companies and lots of commentary from experts.
That's going to give us a lot to unpack.
It really will.
A lot to dive into.
It does, a lot to dive into. So I'm curious, with all this change happening, are legal departments finally getting more, I don't know,
Clout.
more influence, more...
Power.
Yeah, are they moving beyond just being the Department of No?
Okay, so the survey actually says it seems like things are shifting.
Right.
Over half the companies, they've added a legal ops function.
Really?
Yeah, and not just in the last 10 years.
Right.
In the last 5 years.
And it's recent.
It is. It's really recent. And they're not just like,
Right.
giving someone a new title.
Empty title.
Yeah. These teams are growing.
Okay.
And a lot of them, they report directly to the general counsel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big deal.
So it's a big deal for a reason.
Right.
What's driving this? Why is legal ops suddenly so...
Important.
Yeah, important?
Well, it shows that companies, they want to be more efficient,
Okay.
but also more strategic with
Okay.
their legal stuff.
Right.
So legal ops people, they're helping legal teams
Okay.
become like
real players.
key players in all these company-wide initiatives.
That's great.
It is. They're using data. They're focused on outcomes.
So it's not just about saying no anymore.
Nope, not at all. It's about understanding what the business needs
Okay.
and then finding solutions that work for everyone.
Okay.
That manage risk, but also help the company reach their goals.
So it's more proactive, more
Solution-oriented.
solution-oriented. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about
The big one.
the big one, AI.
AI.
Is it really revolutionizing legal work?
Or is it just hype?
Is it just hype? Well, the survey says a little bit of both, actually.
Really?
Yeah, so like 42% of legal ops people,
Okay.
they see generative AI as one of their biggest challenges.
So after half
Yeah.
are a little hesitant.
Yeah, they're worried about privacy, security, know, and are the returns worth it?
Right.
And there's just a general,
Distrust.
distrust of this new tech.
Okay, so that's a big chunk who are, a little unsure about AI.
It is.
But
you said a little both.
here's the thing. Despite all that, over 72%,
Wow.
they believe AI is going to become, essential to the legal profession.
Really? So they see the potential.
They do.
Even if they're a bit
Wary.
Yeah.
It's classic, right.
Classic what?
Disruptive technology.
Okay.
There's always a learning curve, unknowns, but the benefits, they're just too big to ignore.
It sounds like we're at a turning point or something.
Yeah, for sure.
We have this strategic legal ops on the rise. AI coming in.
Yeah.
How's all this affecting legal departments' relationships with their law firms?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because one thing that stood out to me in the report was that companies are investing in these contract lifecycle management tools. CLM?
Yeah.
But
they're not really using them.
They're not using them.
Not to their full potential, no.
So they're buying the shiny new toy, but they're only using a couple of its features.
That's a great way to put it. They're basically using them as
like a filing cabinet.
Yeah, a fancy filing cabinet.
It's just store their contracts.
Yeah, instead of using them to,
manage the whole process.
Yeah, streamline everything, automate things.
Okay, so what are they missing out on?
Well, only 38% of the companies they surveyed had integrated their CLM systems with, other systems.
Other systems. So they're missing out on all these insights. Their contracts, and they can't manage the whole life cycle effectively.
Right, because it's not all connected.
Exactly.
Okay, so missed opportunity there.
Yeah, for sure.
So what about the relationships with law firms directly?
Okay, so one big thing is over-lawyering.
Okay.
80%, a huge majority.
Wow, 80%?
Believe that the way law firms are structured, all these hierarchies, leads to,
inefficiency.
And higher costs.
So what's an example of over-lawyering?
So think about it. Assigning way too many attorneys.
To one case.
Yeah, to one matter.
Right.
Or making things way more complicated than they need to be.
Right.
Or just spending so much time on stuff that could be done,
more efficiently.
Way more efficiently.
So it's working.
Smarter, not harder.
Smarter, not harder. I like that.
Yeah, and this idea of over-lawyering. It's creating a lot of,
tension.
Yeah, tension between legal departments and firms.
How widespread is this concern about over-lawyering?
Almost 2/3 of legal ops people said they were worried about it.
About over-lawyering?
Yeah, and this is making them,
look for other options.
Yeah, other ways of getting legal services.
So this could change how legal services are delivered big time.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, where does generative AI fit into all of this?
That's the question, isn't it?
Is it impacting the actual practice of law or more the business side?
So it looks like, for now at least, Gen AI is having a bigger impact on legal service delivery. The business of law more than,
the practice of law.
The actual practice of law. Yeah.
Interesting.
So think about it this way. Legal ops folks, they're using Gen AI.
Yeah.
And their top priority.
What is it?
It's efficiency. And performance.
Right.
81.3% said that was their main goal.
Wow. So they want to streamline everything. Get more done.
Maximize output.
Exactly. And then cost savings came in second. 42.2%.
Okay, so it's all about, streamlining, maximizing.
Streamlining, maximizing, absolutely. But here's something interesting.
Okay, what's that?
When law firms use Gen AI, it actually makes legal departments more confident.
Yeah.
Their innovation.
Really?
Yeah, it's like they're thinking.
Okay, maybe they are keeping up.
Yeah. Maybe they are adapting.
So are companies actually encouraging their law firms to use Gen AI?
The data shows a big shift.
In what way?
More companies are encouraging it.
Yeah.
78% this year.
Compared to?
63% last year.
Wow, that's a pretty big jump.
It is. And even more interesting, the number of companies that are like, no way, no Gen AI.
Right.
That's been cut in half.
Really?
Yeah, from 10% to just 5%.
So the tide is turning.
It seems like it.
It does seem like it.
But this brings up another question.
What's that?
Could this lead to
more work in-house?
More work in-house. Exactly.
And I bet law firms are thinking about that too.
I bet they are.
What does the report say?
So, get this.
Okay.
86.7% legal ops people think that Gen AI will let them bring more work in-house.
That's a lot.
It is. And it's a big jump from last year.
Which was?
Only 66.7%.
Wow, so it's a growing trend.
For sure.
What kind of tasks are we talking about?
Okay, so they mentioned legal research, document analysis, contract review, and document summarization.
Stuff that they feel like, with Gen AI, they can handle themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's empowering them.
It is.
But isn't there a risk that companies will jump on the AI bandwagon?
Oh, yeah.
Without having their data in order?
You've hit the nail on the head. That's a big takeaway from this report.
Okay.
Data readiness.
So important.
So important. Gen AI needs good data.
Right. Clean data.
Clean, organized.
To work properly.
Exactly. But a lot of companies, their data is all over the place. Right.
Different systems, different formats.
It's like trying to bake a cake with ingredients scattered all over the kitchen.
I love that analogy.
And some of them are probably expired.
Yeah, exactly. So they really emphasize in the report, you got to invest in cleaning up that data.
Right.
Organizing it.
It's the foundation.
This is the foundation.
You can't build a house on a shaky foundation.
You can't. It's not going to work.
Okay, so it's not just about buying the AI.
Yo.
You got to do the prep work.
All the prep work.
Okay, what about evaluating outside counsel?
Okay, so that's still a struggle.
Really?
Yeah, only a third legal ops people have consistent metrics evaluating outside counsel, and even fewer
actually share those metrics
to their firms.
So there's not much feedback.
No, not really.
You'd think with all this data, this would be easy.
You would think.
Why is it so hard?
Well, the report asks a really interesting question.
Is it because we focus so much on relationships, partners at law firms, that we're not being objective?
We're not using the data.
Yeah, we're relying on gut feeling.
Personal connections.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Okay, let's switch gears for a second.
Okay.
The report talks about legal-specific AI versus...
general purpose AI.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so a lot of legal departments, they're using tools like ChatGPT.
Right, general purpose.
Yeah, but 77% respondents,
Okay.
they trust specialized legal AI solutions more, data security, ethical handling, all that.
That makes sense.
It does.
Because legal documents, they have sensitive information.
Exactly.
And the language is so specific.
And you have to specialize.
It's like having a specialist on your team.
Exactly.
Someone who really knows the ins and outs.
Exactly. And this preference for specialized AI, I think it's going to keep growing.
As people get more comfortable.
Yeah, more comfortable with AI in general.
Before we move on, anything else from the report that really stood out to you?
You know, it's interesting.
What is it?
All this talk about disruption.
From AI.
Right, from AI.
Yeah.
Legal departments, they see themselves as the main innovators.
Really? Not the law firms?
Nope, almost 90%.
Ooh.
The respondents,
okay.
They think they'll lead the charge.
Not law firms, not tech companies.
Nope, legal departments themselves.
So they're putting themselves at the forefront.
Absolutely.
Of this whole revolution.
It shows you how much influence and sophistication
legal ops people have.
They have. They're embracing tech, driving change.
It's inspiring, honestly.
It is.
To see a field that's usually seen as, you know,
traditional,
slow to change.
Yeah.
Be so proactive.
It's great.
It's really great.
It really is. This is just the beginning. A total transformation in the legal world.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me neither. It is. And, you know, speaking of legal departments and innovation.
There's this interesting disconnect in the report.
A disconnect. Between what?
Between what legal ops people want from their law firms and what they're actually getting.
Ooh, tell me more. What is it?
So 96% respondents, they said they'd love it if law firms came to them more often with new ideas.
New ideas for
delivering legal services, like new models.
So they're basically saying, step up your game, law firms.
Yeah.
Show us you're thinking outside the box.
Right. Don't just do things the way they've always been done.
Exactly. They want to see firms using technology, streamlining things, being creative.
Coming up with solutions.
Solutions, yeah.
But it doesn't sound like they're getting that right now.
Not really, no.
Okay.
But like with cost cutting, for example. Most legal departments, like 74%, they're just bringing more work in-house.
That makes sense.
It does if they're not getting what they need from outside counsel.
Right.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
86% said they'd bring even more work in-house if they had the bandwidth.
So they're stuck.
Yeah.
They want to, but they can't.
They just don't have the capacity.
So many good ideas. Not enough people to make them happen.
And that's where Gen AI comes in.
Gen AI. Exactly. Remember, over 86% think Gen AI will help them bring more work in-house.
Right. We talked about those numbers.
We did.
So it could be the key.
The key to unlocking that capacity.
That they're missing.
It could be.
Because if it automates things, makes things more efficient.
Yeah.
Then maybe they can handle more work themselves.
Without having to hire a ton of new people.
Exactly. It's a fascinating,
dynamic.
Yeah, dynamic. Wanting more from law firms, but also looking to Gen AI to do more themselves.
It is a complex situation.
It is. It raises a lot of questions about, you know,
the future.
The future of the legal profession.
Like, will law firms adapt?
Right.
Will they see their role shrink?
As legal departments become more self-sufficient? Right. Are they going to become obsolete?
Does the report give us any hints about what might happen?
Well, one thing it talks about is ALSPs.
ALSPs.
Alternative legal service providers.
Okay, what are those?
So they're companies that offer legal services, but outside the traditional law firm model.
So they're like disruptors.
Yeah.
Shaking things up.
Okay, so what are they doing differently?
Well, they often specialize certain areas of law, or they tailor their services to in-house legal departments. They can be more flexible, more cost-effective.
Right.
And they're usually really tech-savvy.
So they get it.
They get it. They understand the needs of legal ops.
And are they gaining traction?
It looks like it. 37% respondents said they've actually increased spending on ALSPs.
In the past year?
Yeah, just in the past year.
And how many decreased spending?
Only 5.5%.
Wow, so it's a pretty clear trend.
It is.
Yeah.
And almost 40% expect to spend even more on ALSPs next year. So they're proving their worth.
They are. They're filling a gap.
That maybe traditional firms aren't.
Exactly.
Wow, this gives us a lot to think about.
It does.
Legal departments becoming more self-reliant, new technologies, new service models, but what about the human element?
Ah, that's important.
It is. Are we losing sight of relationships?
You're right. You're right.
In this rush to be efficient and save money?
Well, the report does say it's still hard to evaluate outside counsel.
Right. We talked about that.
We did, and it's hard to do it objectively and meaningfully.
Right.
So the report says communication is key.
Okay.
Transparency is key.
Okay.
Legal departments and their law firms.
Okay.
They need to be clear about expectations, how they measure success, and then share those metrics with their firms and talk to each other.
Regularly.
Openly. So it's about building stronger partnerships.
Yeah. Partnerships based on shared goals.
Understanding,
exactly. And that goes for ALSPs too, right?
Absolutely. Clear communication, good metrics, regular feedback.
It all builds trust.
It does, and it makes sure everyone's working together effectively.
This all circles back to,
legal departments leading the way.
Yeah, leading innovation.
It's not just about technology. It's about rethinking relationships.
How legal services are delivered.
Yeah, and the report makes a really strong argument that legal ops people, they should be leading this charge.
Because?
They have the skills, the knowledge, the vision to create a legal function that really works.
That's efficient, effective.
Yeah, and that builds good relationships.
Both internally and externally.
Exactly.
Are there any examples in the report?
Oh, yeah, several. Like data readiness.
Right. We talked about that with AI.
We did, but it's bigger than that.
Okay.
They're realizing that good data, it's the foundation for everything.
So it's not just having data.
No.
It's having good data, usable data.
Usable data. You got it.
That you can actually learn from.
Exactly.
So legal ops, they're leading the cleanup, the organization.
They're setting the policy.
Making sure the data's integrated.
Across all the different systems.
Wow. So they're managing the whole data lifecycle.
They are. It's not just an IT thing anymore.
Right. It's part of legal operations now.
It is. And that just shows you
how important legal ops is.
Yeah. They're not just managing tech. They're managing information.
Which is like the lifeblood of a legal department.
Exactly.
This has been such a great conversation.
It has.
We've covered so much.
We have, from legal ops and AI to relationships with outside counsel.
But I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, there's always more to explore.
There is. Is there anything else from the report?
Oh, absolutely.
That you think our listeners should know about?
One thing that really struck me,
yeah,
with all this focus on efficiency, technology, all that, the report still acknowledges the human side of things.
Right. Like measuring the value of legal services, it's not always a science.
Right. There's an art to it.
There is.
That's interesting because we're in such a data-driven world.
I know, right?
Why?
But it just goes to show relationships matter.
Okay.
Trust matters. Communication matters.
They do.
You can use data to assess performance, but you also need that human connection.
Those intangible qualities.
Yeah, that make a partnership really work.
So it's about finding that balance. Between data and human judgment.
You got it.
And the report says legal ops people. They're in a good position to strike that balance.
They are. They have the analytical skills.
The data.
And the interpersonal skills.
Relationships.
Exactly. It's a unique combination.
It is, which makes me wonder, about the future of legal ops. Is it going to keep expanding, become even more central?
I think it's very likely.
Why?
Because legal departments are facing more and more pressure.
To be efficient, cost-effective, innovative.
Right, and legal ops people can help them do that.
They can, and that means the demand for legal ops professionals
is only going to go up.
It's going to skyrocket. It's a great field to be in right now.
Dynamic, exciting.
It is.
And this report really gives us a glimpse into that future.
It does, both for legal ops and the legal profession as a whole.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today.
A lot.
But one theme keeps coming back.
What's that?
This idea of legal departments being the main drivers of innovation.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. They're not just reacting to change.
Nope.
They're shaping it.
They're leading the charge.
They are. So I'm curious, what are some specific ways they're doing that according to the report?
Okay, well, we've talked about technology, streamlining.
New service models.
Yeah, but one area that I think deserves more attention is knowledge management.
Knowledge management. That sounds a bit
technical.
Yeah, a bit technical, but it's actually pretty cool.
Okay, tell me more. So legal departments are realizing that knowledge is valuable.
Okay.
Like, it's an asset.
Right.
And they need to manage it better.
Manage it better? Like how?
So they're capturing it.
Okay.
Organizing it.
Okay.
Sharing it.
Sharing it more effectively.
Exactly.
So everyone on the team can access it.
Yeah. No more silos.
Right. No more reinventing the wheel.
Exactly. They're creating knowledge bases, best practices, and they're using technology to make it all accessible.
Makes sense. Saves a ton of time.
It does. And it also improves consistency and quality.
Okay.
Because if everyone's working from the same playbook,
right,
the quality goes up.
Makes sense.
It does, but it requires a shift in mindset.
In what way?
Well, lawyers aren't always known
For sharing.
for sharing. They like to keep their knowledge close.
Their secret weapon.
Yeah. But that's changing.
Okay.
Legal departments are realizing
Okay.
collaboration is key.
Okay.
Knowledge sharing is key.
To being successful in today's world.
Exactly. It's a new world.
Which makes me wonder,
Yeah.
are law schools teaching this stuff?
Keeps...
Knowledge management skills.
That's a good question.
Right. Because it's not just about knowing the law.
It's not. It's about these other skills.
The skills you need to actually work in this new environment.
Right. Are they preparing students for the real world?
Exactly.
I don't know how widespread it is.
Okay.
But I do know some law schools are starting to teach legal tech. Innovation, all that stuff.
It seems essential.
It does. These are the skills of the future.
And it shows that legal education is changing.
It's transforming.
Along with the profession.
It's exciting to see.
It is. But I bet it's also overwhelming.
Overwhelming for who?
For legal departments trying to keep up.
Absolutely.
With all these changes.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. So what do?
Well, they need to remember, innovation doesn't have to be this big, radical thing.
Okay.
It can be small steps.
Okay. Trying new things.
Trying new things, seeing what works.
Learning as they go.
Learning as they go, exactly.
So it's about being adaptable.
Adaptable, curious.
Having a growth mindset.
Growth mindset, you got it.
I like that.
And that's crucial for legal ops people.
They need to be constantly learning, evolving.
Exactly. The legal world is changing fast.
It is.
They need to keep up.
Well, this has been so insightful.
It has.
I feel like I have a much better grasp on the trends shaping legal operations.
It is a fascinating field, isn't it?
It is, and this report, it's a great guide.
It is. For legal ops people navigating this new world.
Absolutely.
It's a must-read.
For anyone who wants to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about legal departments leading innovation, but are they the only ones?
Ooh, good question.
Right. Could law firms be doing more?
I mean, innovation can come from anywhere.
True.
And law firms are under pressure.
To innovate.
Yeah, and they are responding.
In what ways? Give me some examples.
So they're investing in new tech.
Okay.
Exploring like different service models.
Okay.
And they're being more flexible with their pricing.
Okay.
And they're really focusing on client service, building relationships.
So they're not just sitting around.
Nope.
Waiting to be disrupted.
They're trying to stay ahead of the curve.
That's good.
It is. It's good for everyone.
Right, because we need innovation from both sides.
We do, from law firms and legal departments.
Like they push each other to be better.
Yeah, a healthy competition.
It's good for the profession.
Definitely.
It leads to better results for clients in the end.
Exactly.
Now, what about tech companies?
Tech companies?
They're the ones building these tools.
Right, the tools that are making all this possible.
Are they also shaping the future of law?
I mean, they have a big influence.
In what way?
The technologies they create, they kind of define what's possible.
Right.
They're often the ones pushing the boundaries.
So it's this complex ecosystem, legal departments, law firms, tech companies.
All interacting, all influencing each other.
It's fascinating.
It is. And remember, we're still in the early stages of this whole transformation.
Right.
Things are going to keep changing.
Probably even faster.
Probably, yeah.
As technology keeps advancing and the legal industry figures out how to use it.
It's exciting and a little scary.
A little bit, yeah. What do you think the biggest challenges are?
Challenges, okay.
For legal ops people going forward?
Well, one big one is just keeping up.
Keeping up with
technology.
Right. It's changing so fast.
It's changing all the time.
Yeah.
New tools, new platforms.
So they need to be constantly learning.
Constantly learning, yeah.
Expanding their skills.
And they need to be able to, like...
Filter,
yeah. Figure out what's actually useful.
Right. What's hype and what's not.
Exactly. And another challenge is managing change.
Within their organization.
Yeah. Getting everyone on board with all these new ways of working.
So they need to be good communicators. Explain the benefits, build consensus.
Get everyone excited about the future.
It sounds like a tough job.
It can be, but it's also really rewarding.
Because they have the potential to make a real impact.
They do. They're shaping the future of law.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. They're at the forefront of this whole movement.
Which brings us back to that point.
About legal ops being more than just admin work.
Right. It's about leadership, strategy, driving change.
And I think the legal profession is finally recognizing...
It's about time.
It is.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive.
I agree.
We've learned so much about legal operations.
From AI's impact to the relationship between legal departments and law firms.
And it's clear that the legal world is changing rapidly.
Driven by technology, cost pressures, the need for more efficiency.
And legal ops professionals are right at the heart of it all.
They are. They're embracing change, streamlining things, building relationships.
Driving innovation.
It's exciting to see.
It really is, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Me neither.
This report has given us so much to think about.
It has.
But if there's one key takeaway for our listeners, it's that legal ops is not just about the back office anymore.
It's not. It's about leadership, strategy, shaping the future.
And as the legal profession keeps evolving, the role of legal ops will only become more important.
More crucial.
They're the bridge between the old and the new.
Between the traditional and the innovative.
Between the legal and the technological.
Exactly.
They're the ones who will help create a legal function.
That truly works.
That's efficient, effective, and ready for whatever comes next.
Well said.
So, for our listeners who want to learn more, I highly recommend checking out the report we've been discussing.
The Blickstein Group's 17th Annual Law Department Operations Survey Report.
It's packed with insights and a great place to start.
If you want to stay ahead of the curve.
This deep dive has given us a lot to ponder.
It has.
As legal departments continue to evolve, embrace new ways of working.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see what happens to the relationship between them and law firms.
And how technology will continue to reshape the legal landscape.
One thing's for sure.
What's that?
The future of law is anything but predictable.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Me neither. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another insightful exploration
of the trends shaping our world.
Until then, stay curious.